Yesterday, we uploaded a clip to the Big A channel about Australia banning social media for people under 16. Pretty normal topic. I even made this really badass thumbnail for it, okay? I worked really hard on this, and then everyone online algorithmically told me it sucked shit. And they all went with Adish's basic-looking thumbnail, okay? I got crushed. However, something unique happened. In one day, it has become the most commented on video we've ever had in one day in the history of the Big A channel. Clearly, it's something people care a lot about. People had the different ideas. People were saying why they didn't want a certain way or why they didn't want another way. It's a smorgasbord of conversation in there. And so since I can absolutely not react to all those, even though I was scrolling through and getting some interesting perspectives, I brought it up today while discussing various topics with Aiden and Doug on our Lemonade Stand Patreon. I just brought this up. And we actually got into a pretty spirited, heated discussion / debate over what the hell we should do about social media. We all agree it's a problem, but we have different lines that we don't think we should cross on as far as regulating or what we should do. Some of it was funny, some of it was interesting. And so I asked them if I could upload it on the Big A Clips channel today, because I think it's worth responding in some way to all this discussion. So what follows is a excerpt from our Lemonade Stand Patreon just about this debate about social media. I hope you enjoy it. And if you want to watch the rest of it, you can check out the full Lemonade Stand Patreon. Thanks. Enjoy.
I actually think any solution that involves like a digital enforcement mechanism is likely to be too low of friction to ever be successful in the long term. I think unless you're willing to approach the issue with a
So you need jail time and guns.
with a comprehensiveness of somebody like China. Like if you're willing to take on the security apparatus or the enforcement apparatus of a country like China, which isn't scared of the perception of it being seen as authoritarian, then you could go that route. But to me, because a Western country is very unlikely to approach the problem in that way because of concerns around, personal freedom, which I think are valid, for other reasons outside of the problem. That means you need to attack the issue at like a hardware level. You need to just ban phones for kids. The phones cannot be allowed at school. Kids below a certain age should not be allowed to have like a fully functioning like smart device. It should be like, Apple already does this when you like buy phones. Like you can't just steal one of the test phones from an Apple store because it has a bunch of security functionality on it that won't allow somebody who even successfully steals it to use it. Like if you buy a phone for your child, it should come with a bunch of like preset things that only allow it to do certain things. And then they should be completely banned from most social settings that kids are at. And then for you getting a hold of your kid, you should just like buy
Google
like
Glass.
flip phones or cell watches or like things like that don't have all the features of phones but still allow you to communicate with your child. That would be my most realistic way of enforcing something like this.
So social media ban, but except it's phones, not just social media.
Phone
Yeah,
ban.
because
you go bigger.
Because you've provided a layer of friction that I think is actually significant enough to combat the problem. Like anything that is at a software or at like a digital level is just too easy to circumvent, which the kind of like, pussy keep my freedoms approach that we'll take to things. Which I think is valid for so many reasons. But this is the thing that I think
soy
I-
cuts with their freedoms.
I'm kind of for
personal
real.
liberties.
I'm kind of for real because I don't like. I think free speech in the context of like you getting to anonymously like harass people online is like, I don't know. I guess that's free speech. Like I think I've actually changed a little bit on that this year. I think, but it comes with the risk of like a government
Bro gets a couple
abusing its
bad
powers.
comments and wants to crack down on free
No. But removing that part of it, right? I'm trying to be practical, is understanding that I don't think I would necessarily be for like a more comprehensive solution to this problem that like China is willing to pursue. I don't think that's the right way of going about it.
China.
Yeah.
People scroll day and night in China, young and old.
No, I understand that, right? But they
Okay.
have more comprehensive restrictions around the ways that people use the internet that are effective. It doesn't mean people aren't circumventing it, and a lot of people aren't doing it, but they are much more effectively combating that than most other countries are, right? And
I don't even know if that's true. Like, I'm not saying it is or isn't. I'm just saying the more I've looked into China, like China today, right now, modern China, it's like they're about as addicted to their phones as everyone else.
Yeah, but they're not combating this specific issue. I think it's just this software solution to you getting on Instagram from China exists. It's not that hard to do. But they have made it very, very, very difficult for you to use Instagram, right?
Right.
Difficult enough that people just give up. And that type of restriction and policing of the internet, right, would never play in a place like the United States. It just never would. We'll never arrive at that solution in the near future. And I wouldn't even really call it a solution, right? So what I'm saying is, because the layers of friction that you can create digitally are so flaccid, you have to just ban phones. That's the most effective thing you could do, because policing the possession of a physical object is much, much easier.
Yeah. I think, well, I don't know if it's easier. I mean, I think it's harder to get through, right? Because people will be more angry and averse to that level of...
But I think it's I think if it's framed in a way about we're banning smartphones for kids under the age of 16, and here's this completely adequate replacement for you to continue texting your child, that's a much more tenable solution than something that infracts on free speech and privacy rights.
What if we give every child a 2005 Motorola Razr like I had?
That'd be beast.
And I turned out all right. No, I turned out pretty bad, actually. Let's not do that. You can use T9 in class. You can play...
Would you ban, because you clearly are supportive of a social media ban for people under the age of 16.
100%.
Right, okay. So that's not the question at all.
It's
because that was the starting premise, and you've said, how do we expand that much further?
No, I think it's the practicality of the enforcement or the goals of that ban.
Right. But you're saying as part, seemingly you think it's good that all of the features of a smartphone, like playing video games or whatever, are removed as part of that. Because all of that would be lost, right?
I think that is
reading books.
I don't think that's required. I don't think that's a necessity. I think that's an unfortunate externality of comprehensively approaching this problem, because I can already see it from the perspective of being a kid who sees the cool kids on Instagram because they bought the fucking face mask, or they have a VPN installed that's free. And it's I can just do that so easily. And all of a sudden, I get to do all the thing. I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of kids between the ages of 13 and 16 are back on social media within the next 2 weeks in Australia. That's what I wouldn't be surprised by if that story hit the timeline.
We could do mass AI surveillance to stop that, though.
There we go.
And now we could have machines that determine whether or not it's actually what YouTube is doing. Unironically, YouTube is
maybe people also
put out this whole system to identify people who are lying about their age.
For you guys, and maybe for the comment section that you're referring to,
are
you guys not as unified in the idea of policing social media? Because to me, it's it's obvious in the sense of it's like saying that we shouldn't have an age ban on cigarettes. It's let the 12-year-olds buy cigarettes.
Okay, I got to counter. I thought about it more, and I don't think that taking social media away from someone under 16 and giving it to them after 16 is big enough. I think social media is a poison to people of all ages. I think it has ruined I think I know adults who are more addicted and brain rotted to social media than children. So I think
I would go as far to say, I think this is a hot take. This is my Subway hot take.
Okay.
Society would be better if cocaine was legalized than if social media was banned for, I'd rather have the world where cocaine was legal and social media was banned for everyone. That would be a better world.
I thought about this too. Where do you draw the line on social media? Because if you count YouTube the way that they did in this ban, it's well, there goes our fucking show, and there goes what I like to do, and where I've learned a lot of interesting things. And
do you ban Discord? Is it the ability to communicate with friends, or is it algorithm driven? Because again, we grew up AOL Instant Messenger. That was the first one.
And it was awesome.
And then MySpace. MySpace didn't really have an algorithm. It was just your friend's feed that was chronological.
So I want to propose a line, though.
Okay.
Because I do agree with something you said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There's two things they added in this social media arms race. And one of them is infinite scroll, where they stopped having a finite page that ends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You kept scrolling. And that, and then algorithmically driven content means there's no limit. You literally, unless you fight your brain, can go hours longer than you thought.
Yeah.
I think those things, plus honestly short form video, I don't know how to fit that in, but those 3 things are the fucking poison, and I would find a way to get them out because I think the benefits of social media are real, but those things are the fucking it feels great when you're smoking it, but the cancer sucks. Can we get rid of the? Do you know what I'm saying?
So should like TV news still be allowed? Like there's like trusted channels in your brain? Like how does somebody get informed about the state of the world in a way that isn't just like government approved? You know, if a 15-year-old wants to like learn about the world and politics, the way you do that nowadays is, so are you allowing like you're whitelisting New York Times and Fox News, or how do you, this is the only issue I have with it. It's like, clearly social media is really harmful to a ton of people, and I don't think kids should have it. But I also, it feels very hard to draw a line. And I'm not a big fan of the world of like, the only way you're going to get information, person under 16, is through the government approved media sources. Like that is an instant trajectory.
Very scary direction to go.
It's an incredibly scary direction to go. And I think it is deeply positive for society that the old like media guards have lost their tendrils where they get to control the narrative. And now the way that domination over human information went away was because of social media and people being able to communicate ideas freely with each other. And I would be scared of removing that. You know, things like all the Gen Z protests that we've talked about. Those are a result of people being able to communicate.
Yeah.
They're communicating freely. I'm saying maybe that happens at the margin, but largely we're communicating through the rigors determined by the algorithm. As in, people have to force their message to fit that which is most rage baiting or most...
Yeah, I mean, look, to me, it's just me. I like the Australian version, which is the algorithmic driven social media. I think that's more dangerous and more like the whole point. Like literally, the whole point is that you train a computer to get people to just stick on it forever, and that's different than this is a way to read news or read media or talk to your friends. Right? Those are fundamentally different.
Your
things.
Framing for that is a great starting point. Because the broader thing that you're talking about before is, to me, it's like, you know, sometimes when I take meth, I actually get a lot done. You know, it's like, and that's true. Sometimes it's like when you take it, sometimes you do get a lot done. But it's like
that's not a good analogy because like there's a purpose to it. Like there's no you don't need to do meth. But I think it's important to society to have people to be able to communicate an idea.
I can't get a show.
I think you're right. but your line.
I appreciate it. You would stop villainizing cocaine and meth. Right?
The line that you're drawing. The line that you're drawing is a great starting point for that reason, right? Keep the things that allow, like one of the things they excluded, right, is WhatsApp or Discord. Like to me, those, it's not that you can't waste a bunch of time on Discord. It's possible, of course. But the core functionality of Discord lacks so much of the poison of just like scrolling through Reels or Twitter does.
Yeah, if Discord added a thing, which is, here's the feed, all the best news and topics from across every Discord server, here you go, scroll it endlessly, instantly it becomes much more of a problem. I don't think chatting with your friends online is a problem necessarily, or even being in a chat room with like-minded people where there's people creating content that you can choose to... I don't know. The algorithm seems to be the clear problem point.
I'm spoiling...
And also, actually, just really quickly, I think the software problems you're describing are possible to fix. They're hard, but possible. Like, for example, like you can find ways to stop somebody from using a VPN if they're 16. Or you could say like, you can't sell a phone to a 16-year-old unless there's a hardware thing on it that is, you know, I get what you're saying. People will find ways around it, but I don't think it's as...
Yeah, but they have to age verify. And so either you make it really arduous for every normal person where they have to like send in their ID or do something, or they do it the way they're doing now in Australia, where you have to face scan and it kind of AI checks. And that has been so they're wearing a mask. They're putting it on video game faces and making them open their mouth and close their mouth to do their thing. They're like finding a lot of ways around it.
I mean, I would say we lean into the verification thing. I think it's probably a good thing.
That's what I'm saying is people balk at anything like that. The pushback to anything about verification online is pushed back so hard on by the idea of like freedom of speech and freedom of privacy, right to privacy and freedom of speech, which I understand the concern for. But it's like, can you really have it both ways? I don't think there will. It feels like right now that approach is impossible because of people's protection of those two things.
I just came up with it. I just solved it. I just solved it right now. You don't look excited enough.
What?
I solved the problem. Okay. At 16, you get your driver's license.
Yeah.
Get your scrolling license at 16. And you have to put that
Here
in
we
your
go.
phone.
Give me a machete.
You pass a test to prove you can fucking scroll with the best of them.
And there's a chip in your neck.
Well,
We microchip them.
But imagine that the test is like, hey, here's a rage bait. Can you identify this video as rage bait?
Okay, so
This video is trying to poison your mind.
So you're talking about some sort of like training regimen. Okay, you're talking about something different.
Saying you have to go down to the
To a social media test. Okay, this isn't about an ID.
You have to go to the SMV or whatever it is, we'll call it. And you have
the
to
social motor vehicles.
Very good.
We go to the SMB.
Very good.
Dude,
You
I
swapped to
hate,
the only letter that
I
is
hate
appropriate.
going to the SMB.
Dude, I hate going to
I
the fucking
fucking
SMV.
hate it.
3
dude.
letters of DMV, Brandon. Only
I
one of them
have
would be
to
relevant
go
here.
And
to
the
the
employees,
fucking
the employees
SMV.
there are always so angry.
Yeah, because they're
always so
scrolling rage
angry.
bait all the fucking day. And then you get your license to scroll.
Wait.
And it's
okay.
like a big deal when you're 16. Like, oh, you got your scrolling license? And you're like, yeah, I've been seeing the dankest memes.
I'm gonna indulge for
Okay.
a second because I kind of like a part of this where
Okay.
everybody,
Yeah.
in order to maybe to have a phone,
Yep.
to have a smartphone,
Yep.
you have to take an exam where you have to show that you have the intelligence to identify that is an AI cat video and not a real cat. And the test has to get harder over time as AI improves.
How they kept Black Americans from voting? They did this. They said you have to take
you're right.
a test to say
You're
whether
right.
you're eligible, you're smart enough to vote.
Right.
You're
and
right.
that's how they stopped Black Americans who
you're
were
right.
freed people.
It's
Have you seen those
you're
tests?
so
They're
right.
insanely hard.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen one, but I just heard they would
They would make them like
No.
test that no one would be passing.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right.
like,
This
what's the
is
vice
gonna be
president,
now. All of a sudden, it's gonna. and
you
then you're-
can't have
and then,
a
like,
government
which-
department that's doing this. I think saying that a social
Fuck.
So here's what you do. You say a social media platform.
Okay,
if
well,
you
we
were
have a
gonna
government department that regulates your ability to drive. We have that. We have a
Right.
test. We have it's not.
We have departments that are around. I mean, I know it's not digital, but like alcohol or what you're submitting your taxes or something.
It
You know,
is
we have-
dangerous to drive if you don't have any training. So like, it's not unheard of. It's not impossible. It's not a threshold.
You're talking about the
that's-
training,
It
the
is
training
dangerous to
regimen,
tweet.
or the ID.
I'm talking about to
to me-
a cutoff line that we're like, this is too dangerous for you to not go through some sort of process. Like we operate under that rules for cars every day. It's not.
To me, it's not that I obviously wouldn't. I know we're dicking around.
Yeah.
Obviously, that would not work. The algorithm changes next week, and then
Of
that
course.
means nothing. The AI changes next
the
week.
actual test, I'm not.
Right. But the idea of you have to go physically verify who you are and use that identification card, and that is linked to a government ID, which if a social media website wants to do algorithmic scrolling, algorithmic feeds, they have to have somebody sign in through that. And yes, that would be prohibitive to the average person. And I think we as society could say, for machine learning algorithms, we are willing to say that human beings need to be verified to be exposed to them. I think the average, if you said to use the internet, that's one thing. Right? To send an email, to talk on instant messaging, Discord, to communicate with other people, to text, you have to be verified. That's scary. But the idea of you are going to go onto the infinite feed where a machine algorithm is dictating what you're going to see and do, you have to be government ID verified. That to me seems reasonable, having thought about it for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah,
no
again,
further
all this is
ramifications at all.
live.
Yeah.
But I do think it's one of the big challenges of our day, man. I think.
Yes, I agree with that.
I think, and the thing I said about Australia is like, they are just doing something. You know, I don't think that what they're doing is working. Clearly isn't. But like, people are so fed up. Like, people are so. You ask anybody, even the most addicted social media teen, everyone will tell you it's like they know it's bad. We all know it's bad.
Yeah.